All right, good morning. Here we have the Quick Cuts Greens Harvester. This is one of our most used pieces of equipment on property. It really helps harvesting greens that are planted pretty densely. So any 9 or 7 row green that we grow, our lettuce mix, arugula, mizuna, Tokyo Picana, we greens harvest all of those. And so it really, is probably 10 times as fast to harvest it with this than by hand. So it helps out a lot. Basically the mechanism for this is it's drill operated like a lot of our other equipment. You want to connect it to this shaft here. Once you do that, then it kind of moves forward. You can see there's a rotating blade at the bottom. Make sure that that's sharp, that's working well, it's clean. And then you have basically the washing machine kick basket right here that softly takes the greens and puts them into this back bucket right there. So we'll do a little example of how to do this. This is important. You really want to be careful because you do have a rotating blade down there, so you want to keep that away from you. And you have to be aware of where the ground is when you do this as well. So because the last thing you want is to cut into the drip irrigation or the ground itself, which kind of gets dirt on the greens and makes it much harder. So what we like to do is kind of get it started. And here, I'll go down here. This stuff's looking really nice. And so what you want to do is you want to first look at the bed, see if there's any contaminants in there, any dead leaves. It's best to get that out first. And then what you want to do is you want to kind of get this level to the ground, get it to a good cutting height. You want to keep it above the meristem, but as much leaf surface as possible. You want to do harvest, and then basically what you want to do is get it started and then cruise through. And you can see how it's kicking back. And you want to kind of bring it up, kick it back, and then dump it in there. Just like that. Perfect. All right, so now that we've harvested the greens, we're going to show you how to bubble them and wash them. So what you want to do is you want to take your tote, put it in here, fill it up with water. Most of the way, you want to leave a couple inches at the top so it doesn't bubble over. So I've already done that, kind of filled that up. One thing that's important, you don't necessarily want to overfill it. You don't want this to be completely filled with greens because then it doesn't get the bubble effect. So I'll kind of show you what this looks like. So basically what you want to do now is take your big blue gun, kind of hit it at a corner, and then spray it down there. And you should get some sort of kind of bubble effect. And that really cleans the greens, and you're looking for any kind of dead leaves, anything that's not quite good. That one bolted, so that's out there. You're kind of looking for all these things, and then you can kind of take a little bit of that, do a little wash. If they're super dirty, then you can actually wash them twice, but since this is pretty clean, actually, that water looks pretty clean, we can just do it once, which is totally fine. But now what you want to do is you want to take this is our green spinner, take kind of a handful. You want to fill this about maybe a third of the way up there, so you don't want to overdo it. A couple handfuls, third to half. Something like that. There, a little shake. And then put it in here. Put the lid on. Hold it. Spin. You can see how it drains out the bottom. You want that. Sometimes you'll get a little leaf caught in there. You want it to be draining out of there. Then once you get that nice and dry, take your tote, dump it in. You want to be looking for greens that don't look perfect at this time. The more you get your eyes on that, the better. So, yeah. That's kind of how that works. You don't necessarily want to pack it down in there. You want to keep it a little bit loose so that it has some space to breathe and can cool down quickly. So you label this and put it in the walk-in as soon as you can.